Well, there's an exquisite irony, an exquisite symmetry about this, because she made her name in the early 90s as someone who would grill and vilify and scold public servants, principally on their spending habits. And she became a national figure because of her propensity to turn the Senate Estimates Committee into a virtual show trial where she would haul public servants, many of them distinguished public servants, over the coals for their spending habits. So, you know, this, and she never welcomed that kind of scrutiny herself. I mean, back in 1992, she was a mere backbencher, but she spent a staggering $93,000 on travel expenses in that 12-month period. So, in fact, in 1987, between 1987 and 1988, when she was in the Senate, when she first arrived in the Senate, one of her staffers told me that she had taken a helicopter from a fete to a dog show and charged it to taxpayers.
You wrote, of course, that biography, that widely read biography at the time of Bronwyn Bishop. Hard to do, though, without the cooperation of the subject. In fact, you only had one first and last conversation with Bronwyn back in 1994 itself. Take us through what happened there.
Well, it was at Collaroy Beach in the northern beaches of Sydney. She had appeared with John Hewson at a theatre across the road from the beach, ostensibly there for John Hewson, but then she had given a press conference across the road on the sand, an impromptu press conference. And I had written a number of letters to her and her office and made calls to see whether she was going to cooperate with this biography. Because, you know, remember back at that time in 1994, it did look, preposterously so, it did look for a moment that she might become the leader of the party. Mm. And so I was doing this biography and an analysis of her, and I went up to her after the press conference and I said, "Bronwyn, have you decided whether you're going to cooperate with this book?" And she turned on me and she said, "I've told you no already." And I said, "Well, actually, no, you haven't told me no." And she said, "I've told you no already." And I said, "Bronwyn, you've actually never spoken to me about this." And she said, "So, well, stop." So I stopped on the sand. She said, "Look at me." So I looked at her, and then she screamed, "No." And then she stormed off down the sand in her stilettos.
What a sight. And that was it? No more conversation?
That was it, yeah. So I relied on 200 other people to assess Bronwyn and look at her political career, and but not Bronwyn herself.